Heartwarming moment. Little girl's touching plea to billionaire reveals incredible life-changing power of a single letter. In the small, struggling town of Maplewood, the air buzzed with desperation and dreams. Eighth grader Lily Thompson, with her bright brown eyes and a heart bursting with hope, had watched her father plummet into despair after losing his factory job to an unseen corporate giant. The weight of family hardship pressed down on her small shoulders, especially as she saw her mom, Debbie, tirelessly juggling 2 jobs to keep their heads above water. Every night, Lily whispered a prayer for better days, clinging to the fire of resilience that burned in her mother's heart. At the community center where she spent her afternoons, laughter echoed, even amid the crumbling walls. The place was a beacon of light for kids like her. They shared dreams, stories, and a sense of belonging. Yet, even this sanctuary showed signs of fading, threatened by looming budget cuts. It felt like a lifeline slipping through their fingers. One fateful day, news spread like wildfire: a billionaire was visiting Maplewood to explore local businesses. Like a spark in dry grass, inspiration ignited in Lily's heart. She sat on the floor of her cluttered room, scribbling fervently. "Dear Mr. Sullivan," she wrote, "my name is Lily, and I believe our town has so much to offer." She poured her feelings into that letter, not only for herself but for every person in her community, a testament to their dreams, to their struggle. "We just need a chance," she concluded, her heart racing. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. When her letter went viral, shares flooded in, turning her innocent words into a rallying cry for the town. Families gathered in dimly lit kitchens and coffee shops, discussing their dreams of a better tomorrow. Hope was revived, weaving through the community like a familiar song. Yet, when the billionaire's initial response came, a curt, impersonal dismissal, it was like a kick to the gut. Doubt crept in, testing the bonds they deformed. Lily watched as her friends' faces darkened, their once bright eyes flickering with uncertainty. But still, she refused to waver. She carried their hopes like a shield, the spirit of an unyielding warrior shining within. "We can do this," she proclaimed. "We are stronger together." Just when their hearts began to harden, fate intervened. Mr. Sullivan announced he would visit Maplewood after all. As he stepped onto the streets where laughter intermingled with tears, the townspeople held their breath. Would he see them? Would he understand their fight? The energy was electric, their hopes hanging on a fragile thread. As he walked through the heart of their world, the stark contrast of wealth met the vivid reality of life in Maplewood. Would he discover the true strength of this community or dismiss it as just another forgotten town? The answer lay just at the beginning of an uncertain journey. The moment Mr. Sullivan arrived, an air of anticipation swelled among the townspeople. They had gathered in throngs, filling the once deserted street with the pulse of their hopes and dreams. Lily stood at the front of the crowd, her heart pounding in her chest like a drum. She could feel the collective energy surrounding her, a wave of resilience striving to reach the billionaire whose existence felt worlds away. As Mr. Sullivan stepped from his gleaming black car, nothing could obscure the stark contrast he represented. He wore a well-tailored suit that shimmered in the sunlight, a sharp reminder of what was at stake for the people of Maplewood. His gaze swept over the children, their parents, faces lined with the map of hardship and determination. Lily's breath hitched as she caught his eye for a split moment. She could see uncertainty flicker across his expression. "Thank you for coming," a voice called out, breaking the heavy silence. It was Mr. Jennings, the town's mayor, stepping forward with a nervous grin. Immediately, the crowd responded with claps, cheers, and a surge of warmth. They were ready to share their reality, to show Mr. Sullivan the heart of Maplewood. But the billionaire remained cautiously detached, his lips pressed in a thin line. "What do you want to show me?" he asked, his tone probing yet distant. His words hung in the air, and Lily felt a stir of defiance rise within her. This wasn't simply about wanting something. It was about the life they fought for every single day. Lily took a deep breath and stepped forward, her small figure seeming even smaller against Mr. Sullivan's towering presence. "We want a chance," she declared, her voice steady despite the flutter in her stomach. "We want to show you what Maplewood really is. Not just a place on a map, but a community that believes in each other." Mr. Sullivan's brow furrowed, and the murmur of the crowd built into a hum of nervousness. Would he walk away again? Would he choose to ignore the fire in her eyes? But before he could respond, Lily's mother emerged from behind, summoning her courage. "Mr. Sullivan, my daughter wrote you a letter," Debbie said, her voice wavering but strong. "We are fighting for our town, for our families. We just want to be heard." Lily glanced at her mother, feeling a rush of love swell in her chest. The crowd rallied behind them, echoing their sentiment. "We want you to see our dreams," cried another voice from the back. "We need help, but we can show you who we truly are." A flicker of surprise crossed Mr. Sullivan's face, the first hint of emotion she'd seen. He took a moment, scanning the crowd, absorbing their hopes poured into one collective plea. Tentatively, he responded, "All right, let us see what Maplewood has to offer." As he turned to follow Debbie and Lily, each step felt like a leap of faith for them all. Hearts raced, hope trembled on the edge of reality, and a glimmer of possibility sparkled in the air. Would this visit transform their lives, or was it just another fleeting moment destined to vanish? Only time would tell. In the next few days, they would open their homes, their dreams, and their hearts to a man who held their future in his hands. But as Lily watched Mr. Sullivan stride alongside her mother, a knot of worry twisted in her stomach. Would he truly be willing to embrace their world? Would he understand that change begins with empathy and connection? Lily's mind raced with questions. This was more than just a chance, it was a pivotal moment for Maplewood. And as they walked further into the heart of their town, she couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change for better or worse. But would they be ready for whatever came next? The sun hung high in the clear blue sky, casting warm rays on the small town of Maplewood as they moved forward together. Lily walked closer to Mr. Sullivan, her heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. Her mother was right by her side, radiating strength that bolstered Lily's resolve. They passed the familiar shops and homes, each one whispering stories of laughter and struggle. "Hear us the school," Debbie said, gesturing to the old brick building that stood proud, despite its weathered facade. It had been a place of hope for many generations, the heart of the community. The children gathered on the playground, their laughter mingling with the soft breeze. Lily felt the energy shift. Mr. Sullivan's eyes narrowed as he took in the scene. "It looks well loved," he finally said, his voice cautious but open. In the distance, a group of kids kicked a ragged soccer ball back and forth. They were all smiles, exchanging playful taunts. But Lily knew the reality was different. The school lacked resources, and the teachers often dug into their own pockets to provide supplies. It was a fragile world, filled with dreams searching for a way to soar. "Can we show you what we've been doing?" Lily asked, the words spilling out before she could think twice. She gestured to a small garden beside the school. "The kids planted this together. It's all about teamwork, helping each other grow." Mr. Sullivan glanced at the garden and then back at her. "You let children dig in the dirt?" he asked, his voice carrying a hint of disbelief. "It's more than just dirt. It's about building something together," Debbie interjected, passion igniting her words. "These kids are learning persistence, responsibility, and creativity. They work for every little blossom that grows. That's more important than you might think." A flicker of understanding danced in Mr. Sullivan's eyes. He stepped closer to examine the flowers and vegetables sprouting from the ground. In that moment, the distance between him and the community began to narrow, even if just a fraction. Lily exchanged glances with her mother, feeling a surge of hope. Maybe he was starting to really see the way they poured their hearts into their home. As they continued walking, Lily caught sight of familiar faces filled with mixed expressions. Apprehension, hope, and the daring belief that they might just convince this man to care. She could sense the town's collective breath being held tightly. They turned the corner, coming upon the small community center, where the rhythm of life pulsed loudly. Adult classes were in session, laughter punctuated by shouts of encouragement. Lily knew this was where families found support, where friendships bloomed in tutoring sessions and skill workshops. "Could we step inside?" she asked, glancing up at Mr. Sullivan. She felt a little rush of confidence, like racing toward the finish line, daring him to take a chance. Mr. Sullivan hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Together, they stepped through the doors, and the warmth of the room enveloped them. Rows of chairs were filled with people eager to learn and share. As the class paused to see who had entered, Lily could feel the anticipation. This was more than just a simple task. It was a pivotal point for everyone. Just then, one of the women at the front, an older lady with bright eyes, stood up and smiled wide. "We've been waiting for you," she called out, her voice ringing through the room. "We're eager to show you how we make this place our home." Lily's heart thumped like a bass drum as she stepped further inside, surrounded by the community she loved. Would this be the moment where dreams could rise from the ashes? But uncertain thoughts plagued her. What if Mr. Sullivan turned away again? What if he still couldn't see their value? As he scanned the room, the tension grew thick, and she could hardly breathe. And then it happened. A moment of truth hung in the air as Mr. Sullivan's expression softened. Just a trace. Did he finally begin to understand? But before she could dwell on hope, feeling a weight pressing on her chest, another voice chimed from the back of the room, startling everyone. What if he doesn't care? What if he decides we're not worth the effort? Lily's heart raced all over again. Would this harsh reminder break the moment? And could her community's vulnerability weather the storm of doubt they had yet to face? Lily's stomach churned at the abrupt interruption. The voice came from a man who looked worn down by life, his hair graying at the edges, eyes shadowed with doubt. She could feel the weight of his words sinking in like stones in her heart. The murmurs around the room swelled, a chorus of fear and sadness that echoed the worries swirling in her mind. Mr. Sullivan's brow furrowed as he turned to face the crowd. "I wouldn't say that," he started, but the man from the back cut him off. "It's not just talk. We've been neglected for too long," he shouted, his voice taut with frustration. "How many times have we reached out? We've given everything, and where has it got us? That's what we all wonder." Debbie glanced at Lily, her eyes wide, a silent plea for strength. Lily swallowed hard, pushing the fear down, striving to find her voice in the rising tide of uncertainty. "Sir," she said, stepping forward, her voice trembling but determined. "We're not perfect. We don't have all the answers, but we do have hearts. Our community is about resilience, about standing together, even when things get tough." Mr. Sullivan seemed taken aback by her sudden boldness. His gaze shifted, searching Lily's eyes, as if trying to decipher the strength she summoned. The crowd shifted, some faces turning hopeful as they clung to Lily's words. "Every flower in that garden," she continued, her voice steadier now, "is a symbol of what we can achieve together. Each bud, every green leaf, these kids are not just plants in soil. They're our future." A wave of emotion washed over the room. People began nodding, murmurs of encouragement rippling through as they rallied behind her. Even the man who had voiced his fears looked on with a softened expression. "Show him," Debbie said fiercely, "show him what this community stands for." With newfound courage, Lily turned back to Mr. Sullivan. "If you see our struggles, you have to also see our dreams. You have to see the potential that's bursting to break through. If we join hands, we can build something beautiful." At that moment, the older woman who first welcomed them stepped forward, still radiating warmth. "You don't know us, Mr. Sullivan, but we work hard to support one another. When one of us stumbles, the rest lift them up. That's what Maplewood is about." Mr. Sullivan looked at the faces surrounding him, and for the first time, they weren't just a collective group, they were individuals with stories, aspirations, and a fierce dedication to one another. But just as a spark of possibility flickered, his expression hardened again. "I appreciate your passion, I truly do. But, Lily breathed. The room hushed, the collective hope hanging by a thread now. It was a fragile moment. Would they lose it? The tension wrapped around them like a thick fog. Mr. Sullivan opened his mouth to speak, but a loud crash suddenly sent everyone jumping. A table had flipped over at the back of the room, and chaos erupted. "What was that?" shouted a woman, fear in her voice. Lily's heart sank. Just when it seemed like they were breaking through, disaster struck. As people began to move, Lily's eyes sought Mr. Sullivan's, silently pleading, hoping against hope that this distraction wouldn't shatter the fragile bond that had just begun to form. And then, she witnessed something unexpected. Mr. Sullivan was looking over the commotion, a flicker of curiosity crossing his face. What would he do next? Would he join them or walk away just when they needed him most? Caught in the heart of uncertainty, Lily understood that everything hinged on this moment. The next step he would take determining the future for not just her community, but for herself. Would he step forward or step back? The crash of the table echoed like thunder, reverberating through the air. It startled Lily, her heart racing as the room erupted in a flurry of movement. People exchanged wide-eyed glances, a few raising their voices in alarm. The energy shifted dramatically, a surge of panic coursing through the hall. "Everyone, please," Mr. Sullivan called, his voice firm yet shaky, trying to regain control. He moved toward the crowd, and the intensity of his gaze made Lily's breath hitch. Would he help or just retreat? "I'm okay," came a small, determined voice from behind the scattered chairs. A little girl emerged, clutching a stuffed bunny close to her chest. "It was just the table. I just wanted to." Seeing her small frame instilled an unexpected calm in the chaos. The girl's innocence pulled at something deep within Lily's heart. More than anything, she wanted to shield this child from disappointment and despair. "See, it's okay," the girl continued, looking at everyone's worried expressions. "We're all together, right? Just like in the garden." Mr. Sullivan paused, his brow softening as he observed the child. Every adult around the room seemed to draw together, united by the touching resolve of that young voice. The tension slowly dissipated, replaced with a collective breath. Lily felt a jolt of hope surge through her. This was the heart of Maplewood, a community that found solidarity even in the storm. The little girl was right. They did grow together, each struggle leading to something stronger. "Exactly, sweetheart," Lily said, stepping forward, her voice steady now. "We may stumble, but we help one another back up. Just like in nature, when the storm passes, we emerge together. We cannot forget our dreams, no matter how heavy the clouds seem." Mr. Sullivan stood there, caught in the moment. He exchanged a glance with the little girl, who smiled brightly, oblivious to the weight of the world adults carried. She had lightened the atmosphere. "Why don't we take a moment?" he asked, softer now. "Let us breathe." The crowd took a collective exhale, tension giving way to a gentle wave of understanding. Faces began to relax, people nodding, returning to their previous places. But the spark that had started in that little girl's heart now flickered in many more. Mr. Sullivan, one of the older men, called out, "There's a reason we're here tonight. We want to show you what Maplewood stands for. We're resilient, yes, but we're also capable of great things if you give us the chance." The crowd began to murmur again, voices rising steadily, breaths of encouragement filling the room. The fear that had lingered barely moments before now felt like a shared resolve. As Lily looked around, she could see the bonds forming, the determination solidifying among the faces she had grown to love. Yet, she couldn't fully shake the nagging doubt of Mr. Sullivan's next words. Would he genuinely see their potential now? Would he take that step closer to them? Or would he pull back again? And then, as if sensing their hopes teetering on the edge, Mr. Sullivan took a deep breath, stepping slightly forward, the corners of his mouth lifting just enough to hint at a smile. "You've shown me something valuable tonight," he said, his voice gathering strength. "But I need to know, what are your dreams? And how can I help? Lily's heart surged in her chest, a mix of fear and excitement washing over her. They had a chance to not just speak, but to ignite visions that could reshape their future. And as she faced him, words bubbling to her lips, the heat of urgency surrounded her. What would she say? What dreams would she share to make him understand the heart of Maplewood? Lily stood there, her heart pounding. She could feel all eyes on her, the weight of unspoken hopes pressing against her. It was a moment that felt monumental, like the earth shifted beneath their feet. The words Mr. Sullivan sought didn't just belong to her. They belonged to everyone in that room. She took a deep breath, searching for clarity amidst the whirlwind of thoughts whirling in her mind. What was it she really wanted? What did each person here dream of? Before she could speak, the little girl with the bunny held her gaze, eyes wide and innocent, the embodiment of hope. We want a community center. A voice broke through the silence. It was an older woman, her face alive with enthusiasm. Somewhere we can gather, learn, and grow together. Place to hold activities for our kids, the kind of things this town deserves. The crowd murmured in agreement, voices rising like a melody, weaving a tapestry of yearning. It was as if a river had burst its banks, flooding the room with dreams. Yeah. And a garden, like you mentioned, shouted a young man, his hands gesturing wildly. A place for families to spend time together. We could plant vegetables and flowers, the kids would love it. Teach them where food comes from. Lily's heart quickened. It wasn't just a center. It was a vision. They were painting a future filled with laughter. Laughter that echoed through Maplewood streets. She felt her breath hitch. We want to be more than a small dot on the map, she said, her voice stronger now. We want to thrive. A wave of applause broke out, enthusiasm igniting like a match to kindling. The fire of their desires flickered brightly, illuminating faces filled with shared purpose. Mr. Sullivan was quiet, taking it all in. The momentum in the air hummed with possibility. Yet, a flicker of worry crossed his face. It's an ambitious dream, but how can we make it a reality? Investment, called another member from the back. We need your support to show Maplewood can be something great. Don't just see us as a community at risk, see us as a community ready to rise. What if we held fundraisers? Someone proposed excitedly. Bring in local artisans. Showcase our talents. Lily felt warmth bloom within her. These ideas were setting the stage. Together they were crafting a plan, shifting the narrative from despair to achievement. But then that worry returned. Mr. Sullivan, she said, her heart racing. Will you help us? Will you be part of this dream? The way we can build something incredible together. It could change our lives. Mr. Sullivan's gaze shifted around the room. His eyes were thoughtful, his expression softening as he soaked in the passion and determination of the people in front of him. He nodded slowly. I see your spirit, but I can't promise anything without evaluating the needs. I'll need to visit. Excitement rippled through the crowd. A chance was a chance, and hope surged. Lily stepped forward, feeling the energy behind her words. Let us make it a visit to remember. Show him everything we have to offer, just like we do in the garden. Exactly, shouted the little girl, shaking her bunny for emphasis. Want to see the magic? Mr. Sullivan smiled, an honest smile this time. This was the turning point. It felt like the air was charged with electricity, the feeling that something remarkable was simmering beneath the surface. But as the energy surged, doubt nipped at Lily's mind. What if they failed to impress him? What if this opportunity slipped away like so many before? And just then, as the crowd erupted into cheers and discussions, Lily's phone buzzed in her pocket. She glanced at it, and her heart dropped. A message from her sister, one that mentioned unresolved family issues. A wave of conflict confused her joy. Could she really balance these dreams while dealing with what awaited her at home? The cheer around her began to fade just as hope was rising, leaving her torn between two worlds. Questions bubbled to the surface, weighing down on her. How could she keep the dream alive and confront the emotional chaos of her family? As she stood there, amidst the fervor of Maplewood's dreams, Lily didn't know how she'd hold on to both. But she needed to, for herself and for everyone who believed in what they could achieve together. And just as quickly as the joy had come, another question loomed. Would she stand strong enough to juggle both the dreams of Maplewood and the complexities of her own heart? Lily stood rooted in place, her heart still racing as she processed the implications of her sister's message. The sounds of joy around her felt distant, as if she had entered a dream where confusion clouded everything. She needed to find a balance between the uplifting energy of the moment and the heaviness creeping from home. With the chatter of the community swirling around her, she took a deep breath, grounding herself in the present. Mr. Sullivan was still wearing his genuine smile, nodding along with the enthusiasm of the crowd, even as uncertainty played in her own heart. The yearning of her neighbors ignited something deep within her, a flame that she couldn't let flicker out. "Okay," she said finally, her voice stronger than she felt. "Let us not waste this moment. Let us plan a presentation that showcases our dreams." The crowd quieted, focused on her words, pulling her back into their shared vision. "Let us talk about the gardening workshop for the kids," she continued. "We can build a space that teaches them about nature, the joy of growing their own food. Imagine their little hands digging in the soil, laughter echoing as they learn and play. We can even include some of our town's wonderful stories, those that highlight the heart of Maplewood." Cheers erupted around her. A young woman shouted, "And we need to make it colorful. Decorations that represent our culture, our values. We can incorporate local art." Lily smiled, warmed by the comfort of unity shared among them. Everything they spoke of felt like threads weaving together into a vibrant tapestry. But in the back of her mind, the message from her sister lingered like a dark cloud, reminding her of the storm waiting at home. "Right, and we can include some music." Another voice chimed in, excitement bubbling beneath the surface. "Live performances from our local artists could draw people in. It's a chance not just to showcase our talents, but to show that we're standing together as a community." "Yes," Lily said, clapping her hands together. "Let us organize teams. We can split responsibilities among everyone: content, design, logistics. We'll create something that shines a light on who we are. Each of us has a role in making this dream come true." But a shadow flitted across Lily's heart. Family wasn't just a word. It was a burden intertwined with love, and her sister's message echoed like a call to arms. What if her absence from home turned into a wedge driven deeper into their already fragile relationship? What if she couldn't manage the pressure? Mr. Sullivan cleared his throat, drawing her attention back. "That's exactly the type of vision I was hoping to hear. A community united, showcasing what they can achieve together. I'll do my best to help you all direct this passion into something tangible." Hope sparked anew, filling the room like sunlight filtering through the trees. The crowd exploded in cheers, the applause wrapping around Lily like a warm blanket. Yet, somewhere deep inside, uncertainty gnawed at her heart. As the cheers faded and discussions resumed, Lily pulled out her phone once more, staring at the message again. It was tempting to drown in the excitement, to let the whirlwind of hope lift her higher. But the reality of familial obligations tugged insistently at her sleeve. "Lily," a soft, gentle voice broke through her thoughts. It was the little girl, still clutching her bunny, looking up at her with earnest eyes. "You're going to help us, right? Make our dreams come true?" "I promise," Lily said, trying to muster the confidence in her voice. But even as she spoke, uncertainty loomed, mixing with the hope that had surged before. "Good," the girl grinned. "Because I want to help too. I can plant flowers. Every flower is a dream, right?" Forcing a smile, Lily knelt down to meet her gaze. "Yes, every flower is a dream, and together we'll make sure they bloom." But even as she spoke, the knot in her stomach tightened. How could she carry both the blooming dreams of Maplewood and the weight of her family? As the crowd continued to buzz with excitement, Lily felt a resolve. Deep inside her, she couldn't let the dreams die, not when they felt so close. Yet that worry lingered in the back of her mind. Would she truly be able to handle both? Just then, her phone buzzed again, the screen lighting up with another message, this one more demanding than the last. In that moment of doubt, Lily knew she must choose. Would it be the path of community, hope, and growth, or the obligations of family that threatened to pull her away? As she felt the walls of the gathering close in, the question lingered. Was one dream worth risking the other? Lily exhaled slowly, her breath shaky as she tried to shake off the weight of it all. The fervor around her felt electric, alive with promise and possibility. Yet her thoughts were miles away, haunted by the implications of her sister's text. Lily, Mr. Sullivan's voice pulled her back again. What do you think we should prioritize first? The performances or the garden? Both seem crucial. His eyes were bright, full of anticipation, and it struck her how much he believed in this vision. So many had invested their hopes, while hers seemed to unravel with each passing minute. She glanced around at the eager faces, yearning for harmony, ready to work together. Still, the truth fell heavy on her shoulders. Let us start with the garden, she suggested, pushing aside her fears for a moment. It'll bring us together in a tangible way. We can plant the seeds of our dreams before we ask everyone to showcase their talents. The crowd erupted in agreement again. But her mind lingered on the nagging worry, her sister's voice echoing, reminding her of the fragility not just of their family bond, but her own spirit. They needed her at home. Her sister was counting on her, and that reality was like a shadow pressing against her heart, reminding her that dreams weren't just communal. They were personal too. Suddenly, the little girl tugged at her sleeve again, her wide eyes brimming with excitement. Lily, I want to help. Can I make a sign for the garden? With flowers? Of course. That's a wonderful idea. Her words came out more enthusiastically than she felt inside. The child's innocence jolted a flicker of warmth into the chill that had settled over her mind. As she talked with the girl, giving her pointers about colors and designs, something shifted. The crowd's energy wrapped around her, allowing the heaviness to meld with the vibrant potential of their plans. Yet, every cheer rang hollow against the distant fears clawing at her thoughts. Lily, Mr. Sullivan interrupted again, drawing everyone's attention. We believe in you and in our community. This is your chance to become a leader, to inspire not only these kids but everyone here. Are you ready? Her heart raced. Inspiration sparked in her chest, battling against the looming doubt. Could she truly take on the challenge with both dreams and responsibilities pulling at her? As she scanned the familiar faces, neighbors, old friends, bright-eyed children, she felt a rush of gratitude. Each hopeful face reflected the very essence of Maplewood. Resilience, togetherness, and love. Let us do this, she finally declared, her voice bubbling with newfound vigor. Let us build that garden, and let it be a testament to what we can accomplish when we come together. Cheers erupted once more, uplifting her spirit, even if just for a moment. The excitement was infectious, and as ideas flowed, she felt herself momentarily untethered from her worries. But in the corners of her mind, the chaotic scene at home brewed one she couldn't escape through sheer force of will. Just then, her phone buzzed again, pulling her back down, shattering the fragile moment of clarity. She stared at the screen, dread pooling in her stomach as the reality of her sister's situation surged back. This time, the message was more urgent, filled with desperation. Lily's heart raced. The reality was stark. She might be a community leader, but her family needed her too. She had always been the glue. As she stood there, torn between two worlds, shadows crept in. Would she be strong enough? Would she disappoint everyone? With a swirl of emotion, she realized that this wasn't just about her. It was about making a choice that could allow her to bloom in both realms. But deep down, a question resonated louder than ever. What if, in chasing her dreams here, she lost those closest to her? The tension hung in the air, thick and unyielding, setting the stage for a decision that could change everything. The moment of truth awaited her, and it was knocking louder by the second. Lily's hands trembled as she typed out a response to the urgent message. The words seemed to blur together, dancing mockingly on the screen. It wasn't just the message's content that troubled her. It was the undeniable reality that she felt unprepared for both roles. She glanced at the crowd, their faces alight with hope, and then back at her phone. They needed her to lead. "Hey, Lily?" A voice broke through her spiraling thoughts. It was Sam, a fellow organizer. "We're all rallying together to gather supplies for the garden. Can you help us get the wood for the raised beds?" His excitement was contagious, but the weight of her sister's situation continued to crush her. "Yeah, sure. I'll be right there," she managed to say, forcing a smile. She shoved her phone into her pocket, trying to shake off the uneasiness. As she joined Sam, they walked toward the edge of the park where a small group had gathered with pickup trucks and trailers. Her heart felt like it was being pulled in two directions: duty to her community and the pull of family turmoil. The trucks were filled with soil, seeds, and tools, each piled high, waiting to be transformed into something beautiful. She took a moment to appreciate the teamwork, the laughter that bounced between her neighbors. It was heartening and almost made her forget the turmoil within. "Almost." "Lily," a voice called, interrupting her reverie. It was Hannah, her old friend, radiating energy. "Once we get everything set up, we should do a little cookout. You know, a community celebration." Her heart warmed slightly. The thought of gathering around the grill, sharing stories and laughter, even for just a moment, felt like a balm to her frayed nerves. She nodded. "That sounds perfect. Let us make sure everyone can pitch in." But no sooner had that spark of joy ignited, it fizzled out as the notifications on her phone buzzed again. Taking a deep breath, she pulled it out, the dread pooling anew in her gut. Another message from her sister, this one spoken in desperation. Lily's heart raced at the plea that echoed her worst fears. She couldn't turn away from this. As the group began loading the trucks, she fell silent, wrestling with her thoughts. Every laugh and cheer around her felt like a reminder of what she was sacrificing. The tension pulled tighter, knotting in her stomach. "Lily, you all right?" Sam asked, noticing her distracted demeanor. "Yeah, just thinking about everything," she replied, running a hand through her hair. "You know, it's a lot to take in." "Hey," he said softly, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone in this. We've got your back. Just like you're helping us, we want to help you too." That small reassurance almost brought tears to her eyes. She looked up, finding warmth in Sam's gaze. It fueled a flicker of strength. If only she could trust herself to balance both lives before her. Their truck was ready, and as they rolled toward the garden area, she felt a mix of exhilaration and unease. Could she truly balance community aspirations with her familial obligations? The question hung like a heavy fog, refusing to clear. As the evening sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over the park, she knew the time had come to decide. Her heart raced, the stakes too high, fueling an inferno of doubt within her. And then a little voice called to her, breaking through her internal chaos. "Lily?" It was the girl with the flowers, her eyes wide and earnest. "Can I come help with the garden too?" The sincerity in her plea struck a chord deep within. A choice loomed ahead, echoing with the promise of community and the weight of her family. Could Lily embrace the duality of her world, or would she be pulled under, buried by the weight of it all? As the stars began to blink awake in the twilight sky, the truth of her heart remained as distant as ever, teetering on the edge of the unknown. Would she act, or would fear hold her back? The line between family and dream was becoming less distinct, and the pull of both was tightening with each heartbeat. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting Maplewood in shades of gold and purple, a perfect metaphor for the blend of challenges and hopes surrounding Lily. The garden project stood before her, a tangible representation of dreams and potential. Yet, in her heart lingered the pull of family, a tug she could no longer ignore. "Lily," the little girl with the stuffed bunny called again, her voice sweet and innocent, grounding Lily in the moment. "Will you make our garden beautiful with us?" Lily met her gaze, and something began to shift within her, a realization that balance was possible. "Yes, I will." Despite the weight of doubt, her tone erupted with newfound determination. The joy reflected in the little girl's eyes struck a spark in her heart. Here was hope, an irreplaceable light in the darkness of uncertainty. "Let us do this," she said, raising her voice to the crowd that had begun to gather, surrounding her like a family woven together by fate. "We'll start with the garden. This is our first step to showing everyone who we are." Cheers erupted once more, flooding her with motivation. But even as she rallied the crowd, whispers of worry still echoed in her mind. Did she have the strength to nurture both her community and her family? As they sorted through supplies, every shovelful of dirt they turned felt like a weight being lifted. Together, they built raised beds, laughter mingling with the murmurs of joy and determination. "Lily, grab that trowel," shouted Sam, motioning for her to join him. She jumped in with renewed energy, focused on the task, pushing the nagging thoughts aside. "Hear us a plan." Hannah chimed in as she distributed seed packets. "Let us plant a mix of flowers and vegetables. Flowers to show our beauty and veggies to feed our families. We are all in this together." "Exactly," Lily urged. "Let us make this garden a symbol of our unity and resilience." As they began to sow seeds, her worries began to dissolve amid the rhythmic digging and planting. Each seed they tucked into the soil felt like an affirmation of their shared dreams, something that could not be denied. They were a community built on hard work and determination, nurturing not just plants but a brighter future. But in the recesses of her thoughts, her phone buzzed again. The urgency was unmistakable. Taking a brief break, she stepped aside to read her sister's message. "Lily, I really need you. Things are tough. Please come home." An ache seized her heart, entangled with guilt. She wanted to be their beacon of strength, yet she could sense the weight of her family's struggles calling her back. Torn between two worlds, she wrestled with a truth as old as herself that sometimes you had to give in, to take a step back in order to move forward. Just then, a buzz of laughter and joy erupted near her. Returning to the group, she caught sight of the little girl decorating a wooden sign for the garden. Bright colors splashed everywhere. "This will be our special place," she exclaimed, spreading more joy than she could grasp. Lily approached her, kneeling down. "That looks incredible. What's the sign gonna say?" With bright eyes, the girl replied, "Dreams grow here." In that moment, everything clicked. Dreams do grow, wherever you nourish them, whether in dirt or hearts. Lily straightened up, heart glimmering with newfound clarity. Yes, she had to help her family, but that didn't mean she had to abandon her community. "Everyone," Lily called out, taking a deep breath. "What if we created a plan, not just a garden but events that could help raise funds for the community center while also supporting our families? Maybe we could hold workshops, celebrations, everything." Excited murmurs erupted around her, the momentum palpable as more ideas flowed: community cookouts, family gardening days, even art exhibitions. Together, they could draw in the greater Maplewood citizens, giving life not just to flowers but to a sustainable support system for everyone. Sam stepped forward, radiating enthusiasm. "I love it. Let us plan a big festival. Show what we have to offer." And there it was, a bridge between her family and the crowd. A chance to blend the dreams of both worlds. Her heart swelled with courage. Perhaps embracing her community didn't mean sacrificing her family, it meant finding a way to lift them all together. "Let us make our garden the centerpiece of that festival." Lily grinned, confidence radiating from her very being. "We'll gather support and bring everyone together. This is just the beginning." As laughter rang out all around her, she felt the worries begin to melt away. They weren't just planting seeds. They were sowing unity. Every flower was a testament to resilience, a symbol not just of hope but of connection. As the sun finally dipped below the horizon, she silently vowed to handle both realms. She could step forward in her community and rise up for her family, too. A warm glow emanated from the gathered crowd, joy woven into their very essence, and for the first time in a long time, a radiant smile bloomed on her face. Yes, this was a new beginning, and she was ready to embrace it all. Change was on the horizon for Maplewood, but more importantly, it was rooted firmly in love, community, and hope. And Lily was more ready than ever before. Now, it was time to plant those dreams and nurture them together, because together they could grow into something astonishing. As the last color drained from the sky, the first stars emerged, twinkling down as if sharing the secret of a brighter tomorrow, built on unity and compassion. And just as everything felt aligned, Lily decided to check that message again. With a resolve as firm as the earth beneath her feet, she texted back, "I'm on my way, and together we can make it." Suddenly, her phone buzzed again, but this time she welcomed it, the sound of hope ringing through her life like a gentle refrain. Mission accomplished, she whispered to herself, and just maybe one day she'd be able to say that about her community and her family too. As the night deepened, she stood tall, surrounded by the laughter and joy of Maplewood, ready for whatever came next. And then she thought, let us tell everyone. This was the pivotal moment. Now the journey of Maplewood truly began. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now, and don't wait not even one more second to share.